Feels good to be jumping.
All right,
Take the boy out of Canada.
Let's just get
Take the Canada.
Oh, do you guys see this? You guys see this?
White tulips.
White tulips.
Put the lights down. Put the lights down.
What is it?
They're white tulips. Oh. That is just awesome.
Well done, guys. All right, so as you might notice, there is somebody missing from our panel again this year. Unfortunately, Blair Brown had a bit of a cold and could not travel. So, Joel?
We all miss her, right? Okay, so on the count of 3, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little video of you guys saying hi, Blair, and then we're gonna tweet it to her, okay?
Right.
So we need lights up again, Mr. Lightman.
Lights up. Just say we miss you, Blair. Okay?
On 3.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
We
Thank you very much.
All right, you guys were awesome. Joel, based on that trailer that we just saw and a lot of speculation and discussion that's been happening since the finale, can you now confirm for us that season 5 will take place in the future?
No, it's not. Yes, it is. We're gonna pick up exactly where we left off in 419 the next day.
And now there was some footage in that trailer that we haven't previously seen. Yet you guys aren't actually in production yet. So how did you figure this out?
This was actually really a testament to how much everybody loves the show that makes the show, because we had to get the actors who had worked incredibly long hours to go and shoot, some pieces of footage for a season they had no idea what it was about, and they did it. Or if it would happen. But we sent them stuff, and of course it came back brilliantly, and we sort of intercut it. That video you just watched, incidentally, was our sales tool to try and get us a season 5, so we could present to people that needed to understand where we were going with the show, to allow them to say, okay, I love this show, to go inside with all the hardworking fans to keep us going. So you saw it. We love you.
And you guys, you just joked about if the season would happen. What did you guys feel?
No, that actually was not a joke.
Yeah. What did you guys think when you got the 13 episode renewal?
It was late in the day, so we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it was a bit of shock. Well, you felt confident. Again, John is the wise old sage.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
You never dropped the
But I think generally everybody was sort of happily surprised because we were right there on the razor's edge. This year even more so than any other year. So it was a a good shock.
But it was the fans.
How long have you known how you wanted the series to end?
Well, I had ideas since season 1, but those changed, to be honest, because you get people bring things to the pie that you don't really expect, and then that makes you think about a whole different way to go. Truthfully, I had 2.5 versions of what I kind of thought we should do for the end, and then I sort of decided about 3 months ago, or a month and a half ago. It just became very clear, and I knew this is the way that we should go, and that's what you're going to get.
Whether you like it or not.
No, you like it.
So did you clue the cast into how this is all going to end?
Yeah, which is really fun because I think that they in past years we haven't, right?
No. Actually, we're very much kind of, in the dark, and it's interesting, sort of, I don't know, being able to kind of pluck a little bit more out than usual. Thank you.
Well, actually, the truth is that it's because it's 13, and we want to write the scripts early to make sure that everything is absolutely perfect and the way that we would all want it. And if I'm doing that with the writing staff and myself and getting across what I really want to get across, I want to make sure that the actors have enough time to bring their ideas and thoughts and know where they're going. For the final season too, because they've they developed these incredible characters and created these incredible characters, and they just wanted to make sure that they had enough, advanced ideas.
Warning.
Yeah,
To give us the chance.
Yeah.
Basically, like, just as you guys want the show to end well, we all want the show to end well, and to give us a chance to do our best job going into the final season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now, this season is clearly going to be very observer heavy. But they might not be as bad as we think. There's some questions.
They're much worse.
I think you have something to tell us about how we'll actually find out even more about this.
Actually, this is kind of a little love letter from us to you guys in a really in a fun, I think, and meaningful way for those of you who like collectibles. Is we decided, that it would be a good idea to sort of get a book, an observer book, where it's September's type of concept of what he's been through since the beginning of the program. And this is going to be done by Tara Bennett and Paul Terry, who did this great Lost book. I don't know if any of you have seen that Lost book, but it's astounding. And they're going to give the same treatment to Fringe, but it's going to be sort of all through the prism of September's impressions of what he's seen and what the characters mean to him, and maybe some things in there that'll surprise you. And we're going to actually kind of have it so there's a little bit of a contest where, if you are early to sign up for it to get it, that we'll be able to, draw a few names, and you guys would actually, your names would be included in the book as people of interest.
That's awesome.
That September, is interested in. So, that's coming up. So keep your eye for that. But we're trying to really give you guys back so much because, again, without you guys and the media and your incredible support, we would not be here, and this is the little show that could, and I can't believe that we're here, and really, we appreciate it so much.
Okay, so on to some more cat stuff. Jasika, darling Jasika.
Hey.
We never learned much about Astrid and her backstory or anything like that, but what she lacked in backstory, she made up for in utter lovability. When did you realize that this character was connecting with fans?
In season 1, when she didn't even have much to do. And so many people said, oh, when's Astrid gonna get more to do? I'm staying with this show because I want to see what happens with Astrid. And I was like, I don't know, guys, I might get killed. So let's keep our expectations very low. And fortunately, I think that the relationship that John and I have in real life translated on camera a bit. And so this, beautiful connection evolved in the storytelling, and I think that Astrid's first big episode was realized because of her relationship with the doctor in Snakehead, and it was such a lovely way to explore, this burgeoning friendship that they had with each other, and you saw how much heart she had, and it was a really nice thing to have had faith in, because I thought, I can get killed off in my first show. It's okay. There will be other shows. It's not a big deal. And I didn't die. I made it to the 5th season, and I'm
Lance, you are one cool badass. Nobody can shoot a stare like you. But do people freak out when they meet you and realize that you're not as scary as Broyles?
It's scarier.
Wait, what do you mean? Can't be. I mean, this is the fans here. You can't say that stuff online. It's funny because somebody just said that the other day. I mean, people are always surprised when they see me smile. You guys, you can't go out in the world and tell them this stuff. Yeah, people really are surprised because when you're in people's living rooms week after week, year after year, and it's a particular way, they think you're that guy.
I think that you live in a trench coat.
Well, like he does.
Actually, I'm not in a trench coat that often, but yeah.
Can I just say one quick story about Lance? When we got here, I thought I was going to do my hair different. It was going to be my disguise for Comic-Con. And Lance is wearing a Breaking Bad hat. And he thought that was going to be his disguise for Comic-Con. So I'm walking behind him. He's like, they're just going to think I'm a fan. And so...
I'm sorry.
hotel. And so all these people swarm him, and I walk by and I waved to him as I got on the elevator. And I just want him to know that he is the tallest, darkest, handsomest man at Comic-Con.
You know my mother told me to say that.
All right, Josh, you came to us as... Yeah, go ahead, Josh. You came to us as like a slightly more grown-up Casey. And over the last 5 seasons, or in fact 5 years, you have proven to be true leading man material.
Your check's in the mail.
What have you learned about yourself from playing Peter?
About myself, I don't know. I would like to aspire to the nobility that Peter has developed over the course of the 5 years. I mean, I think the sacrifices that he has made for love and for family are on an epic scale. I don't know that I've got that in me quite yet. So I don't know how much I've learned about myself, but I certainly have had, it has been a great joy, particularly with John, to go from being the son to the father figure back to being the son, and now figuring out how we're going to end this relationship between these two men. I don't know how much I've learned really about anything, but it's been the process has been a pleasure.
All right, and Anna, you came to us as most of us as a stranger, and then boom, you will always be our Liv, always. What would you say the greatest lesson Olivia has taught you?
Oh God, I just do these enormous pauses and I'm sorry. That was just, isn't that so funny? Because you play this character for ages and ages and you hear the name all the time, blah, blah, blah. But when you called me Olive, then my heart melted. It's like being called Annie, like my mom calling me Annie or something. So I must feel attached. I don't know, the biggest lesson? I think it's to come, to tell you the truth. I think it's to come. I feel like, I tell you what, that's what we need to teach Olivia to do. She's
Now everyone has to verify their age to watch this on
I'm a stranger, and I'm sorry, Reverend, and I'm
for this
really...
panel, but even I didn't think it was going to go there.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's not her fault. You guys. Now, you saw her go like this, and you kept doing it. Go on, darling. You tell her.
Please, let's move on.
All right. All right, John. I think we'll
How are you
all
going to follow
Scarecrow.
that?
I can't even hear the question back.
No? All right. I like I said, I think we'll miss you most of all, Scarecrow. You have stolen our hearts. You have broken our hearts. You have proven that awards mean nothing. Are you prepared to say goodbye to this family?
You know, they are like a family, and I get sort of cross when anything happens to any of them, and defensive and angry, and so if anyone, so we lose a cast member or something, I get really fucking angry. On a personal level, there's a shift. Take it all a bit personally, but they have become family, and I don't think you can work with a group of people for 5 years without developing a strong relationship. And we actually do have a very... I get the sense that the group of people that I work with would have each other's back through many, many things, even though we may disagree on many things at times, and we do, of course. But I just sense a real sense of solidarity. I love that, and I don't think that'll go away anyway with it. Was that the question, or do you want to ask me what I've learned from Walter? Well, I've learned to come to work every day and to turn up. It's a golden...
Yeah, you really got my back, John. Yeah, you really got it. Thanks, buddy.
Well, hang about. Anna, Olive.
Yeah, see, it's all better now.
What we've learned, hang on, I'll finish it. What we've learned, and this is a bit soppy, but what we've learned is about the power of love in this story. And the thing that holds Fringe together is the power of love. Because it's between all of the characters there is developed genuine love. And I'm sure that's why you guys have followed it through. You know, the love between the father and the son, the love between Peter and Olivia, the wonderful bonds that have existed between these people that have to work together. Because that's what we associate with. So through all of the science fiction, all the great sort of hurdles that we've gone through, it's that love factor that's kept us going. And will give us a brilliant final chapter. You can't hear me. We're right in the car park.
We can't see you.
All right, so speaking of love, Josh and Anna, this couple, we have watched. We have watched these two dance around, flip universes, trade bodies.
Yeah, it's your typical boy meets girl, boy crosses universe, girl goes to other universe, boy sleeps with her doppelganger story.
Girl gets pregnant.
Over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. Doppelganger gets pregnant, has baby too fast, baby gets X'd out by interdimensional war, new baby is born, lost to future, finds dad, searching for mom, story. The usual.
Just got the blurb for the DVD box.
Yeah. Sorry, was I giving away too much?
No, I think we need a raise. That was pretty good.
But what
That was really good.
Without spoiling anything, since you guys know. Do you know, at least, if these two will get their happily ever after?
Well, look. I can't say that.
I don't know. Asked you, Mr. Wyman.
No. You can't give anything away. Turn off your...
This will just stay between us, right? I think that these two will get the final chapter of their story.
Wow, well trained. Anna?
I concur.
I mean, you know, the fun part of it is, and not to just be producery, but the fun part of watching the show and making the show is the process of discovery. This is why, more or less, we always try to stay away from spoiling things, not because we're trying to tease you, but because it's much more fun to watch it week to week. Like, speaking of Breaking Bad, one of our DPs from the first season of Fringe is on Breaking Bad. I love that show with like a really, probably overly intense passion. Stalkery. And I refuse to talk to him during the season or email him because I don't want to know, because I want to be able to discover it for myself. And so I think that story and all of these stories are coming to some version of a conclusion. And frankly, you know, the characters don't end when the show ends, but we'll tell our final chapter of the on-air story. And that's what this season will be. It's our last journey together.
Okay, so going down the panel, starting at Miss Jasika, I want you to give us your favorite scene, but not one of your own.
Does it have to be in Fringe?
Yes! We're the Mighty Ducks.
I don't think I've had that in about 15 years. No, God, 20. Oh my God. Wow.
Okay, I have a couple, so I'll be very brief. My first favorite scene is when Walter is at the phone booth and he can't remember the number to get in touch with Peter. That was one of the most touching scenes I've ever seen in television. And then my other favorite scene that I had read and kind of breezed over in the script, and then I saw it on television and I started crying, was when Olivia goes into her house and she realizes that the doppelganger had been washing her clothes, and she realizes that, you know, this woman had taken over her life, and she starts ripping the clothes out of the dryer. And it was so heartbreaking because I'm never going to experience that, obviously, you know, to have someone take over your life that way, but it was just played with such subtlety and beauty. It's such a testament to how talented Anna is as an actress. I mean, it's so much fun.
We're girls and they put us together, so it rubs off, and that's the way it goes, and that's the thing.
Seriously, this is just such a gorgeous cast of people, and I've learned so much just watching them.
But that's the bit that TV teaches you. It's not necessarily your characters, that you get to watch these people all the time, and you get to watch them do, you know, like a lot of the procedural stuff, and just on Jasika, one of the, you know, finally, last year, there was like an episode that was completely about Astrid, which we had all been hoping and waiting and waiting and waiting. And we've been waiting we have been waiting for so long for that. And Jasika comes in with you know, in her outfit. Jasika comes in and we're all there ready to do it, and the crew is all there, and it was silent. And our set's loud, and it was so silent, and the respect and the care and the love that was given that's the bit, because we get to work together, and watching you do that was just, but not even on screen, watching that in the room was just so special. And we were all there that day. That was one of the most magic moments I think that we have had in the last 5 years.
Thank you.
So thank you. We had to wait a while, but we got it.
So was that your scene? That was your scene? Oh, okay. It's funny because I actually wasn't there that day. But no. But the reason I say that is because are you talking about? Shh, don't start me crying. Are you talking about the scene when Astrid has the scene with her?
Yeah. It sounds stupid, but we have been waiting a really long time.
Normally I don't watch. Like, I didn't watch The Wire until we were in the middle of season 3. I still haven't watched most of my stuff on Oz. I haven't watched my season of Lost. So I haven't watched most of this show, but I watched that episode. And, shit.
Like Barbara Walters.
It was actually 2 scenes together, even though they didn't come right after each other. When Astrid has the conversation with herself, and her alternate self asks her if she thinks that her father loves her. And Astrid has already lied to her, except we don't know it yet, and told her that her father's dead. And she said, yeah, I think he did, it's just that he didn't know how. And then you see her in the last scene when she goes in to see her dad. And he asked her how her day was, and because she's gone over to, he makes her dinner, right? Yeah. That was my favorite. Those are my favorite scenes. Yeah. So you can't go up and tell anybody this happened.
I too am sensitive. I loved it when Peter chopped that guy's fingers off. Stand alone for me. And I think there was one episode in the first season where Olivia shot 17 men in one scene. What can you say? Look, those scenes I'm talking about were some of the most beautiful stuff we ever done, but I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. Your turn.
I feel like an abusive father right now. I apologize. apologize I don't have tears for you guys. I actually think, I don't know, it's not a scene, but I think I'm gonna go with, I mean, truly, probably most of my favorite scenes would be your scenes, but I'm in a lot of those, and since you can't pick the ones that you're in, I'm gonna go with Seth Gable. Not necessarily with a scene, but particularly when he was doing his doppelganger stuff. I mean, all of you guys have done beautiful doppelganger stuff, but the ways that he contrasted his two selves, I thought was really, really well thought out and well performed. So I'm gonna go with Lincoln and Alt Lincoln, just in general.
I swore I wasn't going to credit. What about the scene where the worms came out of the guy's
Yeah, but I'm in it. I can't say that. I mean, truly, the grossest thing. Okay, so I can give you two, but I'm in those scenes. The 2 times I've nearly lost my lunch on Fringe. Let's go with a different bodily function. There's one in the first season where we have a girl's eyeball out of her skull.
Oh, yeah.
We're sticking to this, and when we were shooting it, because things like that, in a horrible way, become normal when you're on set, you're like, oh yeah, eyeball, no problem. I was doing the thing, and then you watch it on camera, and I was like, oh my god, that's just so foul. It's just so incredibly disgusting. And then we did another one, I think the episode's name is Snakehead, where we pull these nematode worms out of people.
That was good.
And our effects crew is so good that I didn't know we had these poor people who were like half dead in the water, and they were live people that were now half dead, and they built some mock-up bodies, and I didn't realize that this one was a mock-up body, and it had the worm in its mouth. And John just rolls down to it and pulls this like 7-foot worm out of it, and I was like, oh Jesus! Lance was right next to me, and I literally did the expecting this poor guy to be like,
I remember that day.
Oh my God.
And the times when you thought something was real and it was dummy, and the times you thought something was a dummy and he blinked.
yeah, yeah, stop carrying me. What?
I remember a scene in the very first season where I had been standing next to this girl. She was lying on a gurney. There's a lot of our guest actors too. She's lying, and we'd been chatting, so I knew that she was a real person. And I went away to do something, and I came back to go, how are you? And she had an eye out. And I think I nearly died. I realized they just switched it out really quickly in the minute that I was gone.
These are all very moving moments.
I think we have another video clip, right?
Yeah.
And this is completely exclusive, made solely for this event, and for everyone with eyeballs in or out of their heads. So I think
This is something else for you guys that we all wanted to give you, because we feel like you have a brick in the building, and it's not saying goodbye, it's saying that we're successful. All of us are really successful in running 100 episodes and having this beautiful family, and you guys being a part of it, and us knowing that. So we just, from all of us sitting here, and all the people in Vancouver who are working so hard to bring you the show, and all the people at Fox who stuck with us even though our numbers were middling at best, which never happens. So yay Fox, and you have to really say thank you, because especially with these shows that are kind of critically acclaimed that don't do really well, everybody's the first thing like, I'm never watching Fox again. I'm never watching them again because they canceled my favorite show, and we tend to forget that it's a business. People have to make money. So the fact that they stuck with us and they said, no way, this is too much fan support, it's too much media attention, and we really love the show and believe in it. Thanks to them, and thanks to Warner Brothers for everybody, but most of all, like I said, thanks to you guys, because you really do own the show with us, and we want to show you this as a thank you.
I just want to say something. When we finally stand up from here, I just want it known that I didn't piss myself. I had water on my face to create tears. So I just want to put that out there. Because I'm realizing there's going to be an embarrassing moment when we leave the stage. Okay, so that's all.
hashtag incontinent.
Yeah, that's not going to look good.
from Canada, from Vancouver, and I go to UBC, and it's been really cool seeing bits of my city and bits of my school in the episodes. I haven't seen you guys yet, but hopefully one day. So my question is, for all of the cast, basically, if you could have gotten any piece of advice on your first day of set, what piece of advice do you wish you could have gotten?
Oh, yeah.
Get a good night's sleep.
At least it wasn't fire your agent.
Or piss yourself in front of 5,000 people. Say that. Pardon me, I didn't mean to shortchange you. Thanks. Now I'm much less nervous. Thanks for pointing that out. It's much less embarrassing that there's 6,000 people here and I wet myself.
Joshua. I can't make that work anymore. Waterlogged.
I think that I would have loved someone to have said, "It's okay, Anna, take a breath. Television's fluid," and that's the biggest thing I think I've learned about doing TV is that it flows, and so nothing is set in stone. Characters can change, stories can move, and so therefore you can just go with it.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
I don't know if any advice could have prepared me for my first day on the set. My first day on the set was when we did the pilot in Toronto, and I'm pretty sure that Jasika Nicole was there the first day, and I just met him. It was just like really overwhelming, and there was nothing to ready me for what I was about to experience for the next 5 years.
My first day on set, we were in Toronto. It was -27.
Yeah.
I was there with Josh and Anna, and there's a scene you might remember from the pilot. And I had this great big beard on. And I turned around. I knew you'd come. Speaking of.
Yeah, we're back to that.
Now I've lost my train of
And you know,
thought.
honestly, now I feel less bad about wetting my pants.
I didn't know how much fun it'd be, to be honest with you. So if someone had said, "This will be fun," I would have said, "It's pretty good thing, isn't it?" Have fun. It's like your drama teacher said to you, "Just have fun." You're kidding me! Go on, Lance.
Wow. Well, unfortunately, I don't have an answer for two reasons. One, I don't remember my first day on set. I don't remember what was our first. I remember the read-through, but I don't remember the first scene that I shot.
Was it not on the tarmac?
Oh, was it?
Oh yeah.
The right way. Airport.
At the airport, it was
Well,
-45.
I think it was more memorable for you because you were out in it.
We shot it.
No, it's okay. These guys were freezing their little tushies off and like, what was it, 20 below?
-45. And if you watch that scene of us at the airplane walking towards the airplane, you can see that we just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as the shots get like further apart because we just keep putting more and more tracksuit pants under our like. Do you remember? And we had to keep going inside.
Well, the thing about it is, my call was 10 o'clock at night, and so I got there and I got dressed, and then I slept till 5:30, and then they had me come on and greet them, and then I went home. So I wasn't that cold. And as far as advice go, wow, only because by the time we had Fringe, I'd been doing so much TV. I feel like it was more like by the time we got to episode 4 that I wish someone would give me advice because I never did a network show before, and it was to relax because sometimes the words can change suddenly.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Raymond. I've been a longtime fan. For Pacey, what if Coach Bombay had never blown a .08? John Noble, you're just such a genius. Lance, what if they had killed you off and what if they hadn't killed you off and lost? And Anna, I saw that cop sketch of you a couple months ago. You can write me a ticket anytime. Astrid, I love you. I love you, you're so cute. Is Henry Ian Cusick going to be in future episodes?
Is Henry going to be? I honestly, since we have 13, I just want to say this up front. There's only 13, so it's the end. Okay? So I'm going to be really, really careful with what I say because I really want, like Josh said earlier, I really want you guys to have the experience, as do all these great actors. They just want you to experience it. You know, it's like saying, I want to open up my presents before Christmas. I'm sure there's an urge to do it, but it's always much better when you wait. So, I mean, let's just say, Henry,
you'll find out soon.
Yeah. Henry was an astounding performer last season. Let's see if he makes his way into the season this year. I'm sorry, that's all I can say. I'm gonna be tight-lipped.
Okay, so you guys all did really fantastic jobs playing different variations of the same character. So my question to Josh is, are you jealous?
Well, I didn't make anybody cry today, so a little bit. Yeah, I mean, part of me enjoyed the fact that I didn't have to go through the rigmarole because I saw that the amount of extra work that each one of these players had to put into creating and then performing those characters, and and as I'm sure you can imagine, when they're performing those, they're doing it to blank space and creating the other performance, I would imagine, in their heads as they're going along. So that's not easy. So I have great respect for it. I think it would have been fun. I would have enjoyed doing it at one point, but I was happy with those days off.
You look
Thank
nice.
you.
Oh, she's friendly.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's just...
Shit. Yeah.
Go ahead.
G'day guys, my name's Rev. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. A couple of my mates.
Hello.
Hi. We camped out here last night just to see this panel. My question is two-part. Is there any thought about the series continuing on, like on another format, comic books or webisodes, etc.? And if so, would you guys possibly voice?
Or write.
Yeah.
Well, we have a comic book artist and writer at the table.
Yes, I'd be happy to keep the story on in my own head. It would be very different than what you've seen for the past 5 seasons. It'd be called The Adventures of Astrid.
I think anything is possible, that if this final season develops as we think it will, and we finish up very successfully, I would think that a film is very possible down the track.
Of course, it'll be shot on this by us in our trailer.
The quality's really good now. You should see what I've got here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they did those Fringe. I got to write one of those Fringe comic books, and that was a ton of fun, which I highly recommend to everybody. So I think there's a good possibility, and like you said, the book that's being put together, I bet there's and in fact, don't discount yourself, because fan fiction is a part of the universe of the show as well. So yeah, I think the show will live on in some form or another. Welcome. Thank you for camping out. I'm sorry.
If there was a superhero called the Fringe, what would he or she look like?
I think we have her.
The Fringe. Then people could come dressed up as the Fringe.
Of course, now we're getting back into a bad place. We should go away from that all of a sudden.
By the way, Anna and I have read some of that fanfic out there.
Yes, we have.
What?
You guys are scandalous.
Time, and we just haven't actually managed to find time. We've just been
To shoot some of
very
this.
much to shoot like a little. You haven't read it?
No, 50 Shades of Fringe.
Hi, my name is Mike, and you know what? It's okay to get emotional and cry because I feel it. Anyways, I was gonna ask you guys, what's your favorite Walterisms?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. So many.
I think Vagenda still has to be top.
Wait, what did you say?
The Vagenda line is still maybe one of the best neologisms.
Don't right into a agenda.
Yeah. It seems to be the theme of our afternoon. Morning.
Wait, I think I got a wheel on that one.
You got a better one?
I don't. I doubt it's better. But it's from the pilot. When I think you guys you and Olivia are driving Walter home from, you're driving him somewhere. Anyway, Walter says,
on topic.
I think I just pissed myself. Don't worry.
Which clearly runs in the family.
Just a squirt.
Just a squirt. Man, I rewound.
Yes, that was a fine moment.
That's why he was so excited about it. So he's not the only one. Oh, I don't know. I can't think. There's so many, John.
Take it.
Can't choose.
Well, since nobody else can think of it. Also, asterisk.
Yeah.
Astronaut, whatever. There's like 10 of them.
Yeah.
And when he finally
Oh, Strawberry Fairy Death, that was pretty good.
Yeah, when she gets him back and calls him Wally, it was a pretty awesome moment. But I love it when he calls her names that don't begin with A. I think they're so funny. Like when he called her Claire one day, that was pretty prize writing right there.
Nice. Thanks.
Thank you.
This question is for J.H. Wyman. Blair Brown mentioned in TV Guide magazine that one of her favorite Comic-Con moments was meeting the female observers last year. That was us. Hi. So our question is, are we going to see any actual female observers this year?
That's on you, bro.
I always wanted female observers, and the network said no.
Fox said no to women.
No, this is not true. No, this is not true. The truth is, I think that the answer to your question will become apparent this year. There's a reason, and you'll find out the reason.
Thank you.
And the past 4 years have just been amazing, and I can't wait for the 5th season. My question is for the majority of you. Sorry, Josh. What was your favorite version of your character to portray, and why?
The one I like best is the random Walter, the kind of the initial one that had no boundaries and really didn't know what was appropriate and what wasn't appropriate, and he was the one that was also so loved his son, so wanted his son back, but he kept saying the wrong thing all the time, and his son didn't like him. He was beautiful because it was just random, and he was without filters, and in some ways he was the setup for the rest of them, but he was so much fun to play because there was nothing I couldn't do.
All bros, because he was so conflicted. I mean, I wish you'd lived a little longer, 3rd season, but he definitely died with a bang. But really, because he was so, I can't think of any other way to say it except so conflicted. And the scene, I loved playing the scene with my son, fourth season, that was a hard scene to play because you have to get so much intimacy with someone that right away. But the young man playing my son was great. So the scene in the bedroom when I put him in the bed. So yeah, I love playing all the roles.
On a day-to-day basis, going to work, the days that I was playing Alt Olivia were much more enjoyable because she was just simply lighter. But Olivia is much more satisfying. I mean, like there is just more to her, and I'm excited actually about this season because we did say goodbye to the alternate universe, and I think that my focus can then just go completely back onto Olivia instead of constantly kind of keeping particular characteristics, you know, like in one dimension or the other.
I loved both Astrids. I think that Alt Astrid was more of a challenge for me. She was really difficult, and everybody thought she was such a flat character. You know, she has a kind of robotic way of speaking, and you don't get to see her emote very much. And so for 1.5 seasons, people had this idea, you know, of her being this really undynamic character. And then out of nowhere, she comes, and she really brings it. And that was such a thrill. It was so difficult. But every day that I would play Alt Astrid, I would go home with a throbbing headache because she would stand so focused at her computer. And so my muscles would clench up and I wouldn't realize it. And I would go home like, oh God, I can't wait till we say goodbye to these people. Because my body couldn't take it anymore. But it really was difficult to say goodbye to the alt universe. Incredibly hard, and specifically saying goodbye to Lincoln. Of course, this is Fringe, and you don't know what will happen. We might get to see him again, but it was like closing a chapter, you know, of our story, and it was pretty tough to do.
Yeah, it was. I was success.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Unfortunately, we are at the end. I want to thank all of you guys, and I definitely want to thank you guys for bringing your worlds into our worlds. And I would ask. Would you guys please stand up and take a bow? Yeah!